or so mat thickness after they compact it. And so he's paving it, and I told him there were some drainage items I wanted him to address. So right now he's making sure that it drains, because before I left I said, you know, do you want me to run some water on it tomorrow to check the drainage, or do you want to do that before you leave? I thought that was real subtle.
That's one of the things.
And then, but yeah, he was talking, he said, what do you know about the guy over the windmill? I said, the only thing I know is that he was supposed to dedicate 25-foot right away, and he never did. And I said, from what I've seen in the paper and heard, it seems like he's got land and he expects the town to rezone it every zone consideration. I said, that's all I know. I said, we'll find out later.
So the public can identify me. How are we doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
I was at a few months back.
Good. I'm Gary Patsy.
I'm Bob.
Mike Edmonds.
So if it's incoherent, that's because I have grant
Just a few months back, I was the new guy.
Well, I figured you'd explain it in a minute.
Right, so that's.
Nothing wrong with that. We all have to be new at one time.
That was a year now.
There was a couple of them where I went, oh, this one.
Right.
Huh?
They haven't had a meeting for a while.
No,
I got on and then they stopped the meeting.
that's what happened when I got
And I started to take it personal.
Oh, you should.
Feel free to ask me questions because I've got EA due next week.
Mine's up.
I know, we got general fund people, how many you expect?
The first wasn't sure she could make it.
Yeah.
Celebration out there.
That's what I should have used this morning. I gotta come to work. I thought it was interesting to
Well,
bet.
also Fat Tuesday. Well, it must be a Mardi Gras. I didn't know that.
Oh, there it is. I should have remembered. I have one strand. You don't have, there's no place here to get a punch.
Called her up and I was gonna say, hey, look, I left the money on the bed.
Obviously did not grow up in where I was
sound right.
Polish people. No, I didn't.
They're jelly filled.
Decorated in purple and green and silver. Well, no, they're just covered with powdered sugar. But they're these, that's what the little Polish ladies used to make to use up all of their ingredients.
Or is it a friend?
What?
No, it's
So they're like a giant jelly donut that's deep
How
fried
we found out about
and then
somebody
rolled
who my
in
wife's
like
property.
cinnamon sugar or powdered sugar.
Yeah, you won't find anything like that here.
No. They're, it's one of those,
that you raise and then you cut, and then you deep fry it, so, yeah.
yeah, they're delicious.
I used to have, name in front of what I know about it, yeah.
But anyway, I will get their names in. They do some work.
You know, it's funny, when I moved to town, I was there on a strange name. Slotchworth.
Slotchworth?
Slotchworth.
I can't do ladders much.
Wow. If I tell people I married the name I've got, I wasn't born that way.
Stuff, you know, the maid cleaning, the wife is still pretty. That's just where she
Yeah, at least you're not the only one.
hide and dust and dry things were.
We've got a number of, I don't know where you decided to send them. I tell you, let me give you that.
Another one from
France.
Well, it was from New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
So could have worn something to celebrate Fat Tuesday, or something to celebrate Tibetan New Year's. Anyway, so she said she could come. She's the only one I heard from.
I'm good at sliding through.
Nolans.
Hello. How are you? I'm good, how are you? Good.
Sherry's gonna probably be
No,
Whoops, well, Charlie, you can move over if you want.
not today anyways. Not today anyways. You know the stuff that was on my email, I didn't get a set of minutes for the last meeting. You don't happen to have a spare set, do you?
Oh, they're not, They're not going to
brain just went
vote on the minutes?
So is mine.
Only because
I've been sitting on the thing with him for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
His
I
term.
thought maybe it's just me to him. All right.
My brain just went blank. I can't even think of his name.
Oh, yeah, she's
We
gonna
don't have any meetings to approve.
That's right, so I can't even look. That's gonna bug me now. Oh my gosh. He was pretty quiet.
Who's the commissioner that just left?
I'm sorry?
The commissioner that's not here anymore?
The vice chair?
Oh, Minor.
Minor, thank you. Garland Minor.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Yep, he was always my right-hand guy.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We have enough to have a quorum, yeah.
Yep, and then you get to appoint a vice chair sometime? Or you just
If
gonna-
it's on our agenda,
No?
yeah, so maybe next month we'll pick one, huh?
Then you will not have any minutes to sign for tonight.
Okay.
So-
I just said, I think you're in the senior center looking for a free meal.
He probably got on the wrong bus.
Oh,
That's all the wrong line.
east. I was gonna say, it wasn't very bright. Are you guys cold or hot? Or comfortable?
I'm good.
Okay, otherwise I turn up the heat.
Oh, don't turn up the heat.
You want, don't
No,
turn it up.
not for me, I'm
Not for me.
Okay,
No one's screaming cold.
and no one's turning blue, so okay. Pretty much. Till she pans in that.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. Recovering from my shoulder.
How'd that work out for
I
you?
broke it. Turned out I broke it.
So breaking it's better than a tear though, so.
Yep, I didn't have to have surgery, but I still can't lift my arm like.
So you're
I'm
doing
working on it.
therapy? I know 3 people that are doing, you're the 3rd one doing shoulder therapy right now.
Yeah, took me 10 weeks. 10 weeks in the sling to get past the break. So now I'm working on making the muscles move again.
Right.
It's been pretty painful. It's one of the most painful things I've ever.
Well, the therapy I hear is can be really painful. My mom had
Oh,
both
yeah.
her shoulders operated on and she got full use of them again, but she really worked the therapy thing pretty hard.
I'm pushing it pretty hard. I want to be able to, do push-ups again and
Well, she
things like that.
she said that she got her full, and she was probably in her middle 60s when she had that done, and she got all of her range of motion back, and but she said she worked at that therapy even though it was really painful.
It's not fun. Yeah, but I finally got out of the I'm in pain every day. So now I don't mind doing the I'm in pain when I work out because I'm not in pain 24/7.
Right.
You know.
Stretching things that don't want to be stretched.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's not been fun.
I would hope
So
so.
you're on the mend and everything's working good.
Yep, I'm on the mend.
I know
My
that's why
kids
I
still
think from
swing
now on
wide
we're just gonna
away
do
from my
this
left
the
hand.
rest of the stuff, unless there's
That's my
something
good
we
one.
need to vote on, we'll just do it as a discussion item.
How's zoning going? You guys busy?
I'm not in zoning, I'm in engineering.
do it as a
I've been in
discussion item on
engineering
here.
for,
I thought
6
you
years?
worked in the zoning.
We're gonna add it.
nope, I work in engineering department.
Instead
and
of-
it's busier than all get
I
out.
bet.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah,
I'll
busier
bet.
than all get out.
We've been on the board for the Contractors Association. We've been hearing, because Sandy sets in on the meetings for the, the buy-in fees,
Yeah.
Oh, the impact fees.
impact fees.
Yeah, the IIP meetings.
Yeah, and I guess that's turning into a big pile of.
That dawned on me.
Well, for I guess some of the others, but for water and sewer, it's almost a done deal.
That's-
It
yeah,
has
'cause
to happen, and
it's
that
the-
was what I helped develop, was the water and sewer
The police
side.
and fire, I guess, is really,
So I think
And
we're
this
gonna
transportation one, I think, might
amend
go.
what I wrote just
This-
a wee bit.
the state law had a good intent, but I don't know if it's gonna have a good result, because basically it's handcuffed the cities now to where they can't really do much.
Yeah, it's-
I'm gonna propose
I
that
always
we
say when people
add
want to change the
non-public
law,
hearing
be careful
agenda
what
items
voice because
before
you don't know what it
discussion
might be,
items.
you know?
Well, they.
And I think the,
I've seen a couple of circumstances
Non-public
now
hearing,
where they
what did I
changed
say,
the law with
action
a good
items?
intent, but it didn't.
didn't really change.
They didn't think through the consequences
Non-public
far
hearing
enough to get the
action
law nailed
items.
down right.
Yeah, Well, the water and the sewer stuff won't go down, but I think the overall number
Will come down.
will come down. Because there's like $2,800 in impact fees, and then you pay the water and sewer impact fees.
Yeah, and those are
So,
killer.
so the 2,800, that should come down, and the water and the sewer might come down, but I don't know, we'll see. There's still a lot of projects on the list, I can tell you that.
When that money has to go directly to that, and it can't go for capital improvement, am I right?
The way it works is we develop a CIP, capital plan, and then we take the capital
Yeah,
plan.
because
we
all
build this,
it
how much
is
would be for
does
existing users
does
and how much would be
the
for
commission, God, I gotta quit saying
new
council.
growth.
Does
We
the
do that
P&Z
based
want
on
to initiate public
vacancies
hearings on
and
these
land
items?
use zoning.
And,
So we develop a percentage of the project and how much would be for new and how much would be for
May.
existing. And then we gave that to Raftellus, and then they parlayed that into the rates, increase on the rates for the ratepayers, and then what the impact fees would be for new. And then we developed a service area, so if you don't directly benefit from one, we're ready to go? If you don't directly benefit from an improvement, you don't have to pay because you're not in that area.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to call to order the March 4th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Could we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? Chuck, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Well, good afternoon or good evening, Commissioner Rowich.
Here.
Okay, Commissioner Edmonds,
Here.
Commissioner Merritt,
Here.
Commissioner McCauley.
Here.
Well, Commissioner Sloan, who's not here, and Commissioner Pasiak. Pasiak. Okay.
Okay, we don't have any minutes this evening. Can we have a staff report, please? Uh-oh.
We have a new Planning and Zoning Commissioner, Mr. Gary Pasiak, has joined us. Gary, would you like to take a minute and introduce yourself?
My name's Gary Pasiak. I moved to,
If you sit and then do it talking.
You can sit down.
I can sit down?
Just pull the recorder up.
They can't see me if I sit down.
I have that same problem.
My name is Gary Pasiak. I moved to Chino Valley about 2 years ago. I've been in Arizona since '82, and I've worked with both federal and county government. I worked with the Veterans Administration in Prescott for about 10 years, and then I went down to Maricopa County and worked with their medical center and their Planning and Development Department and their Department of Transportation. And then I retired and moved to Chino Valley.
So we're very
Welcome
happy.
aboard.
We're very happy to have Mr. Pasiak here, and he clearly has some depth of experience we will be taking advantage of. And that's it for the staff report.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 6A, amending the rules of order, section 10B7, from discussion items to non-public hearing action items, and section 3B, striking and the third. Staff report?
Yes, before you have, at the previous meeting, we talked about cutting back to one meeting a month. And at that time, the agenda had a public hearing item and discussion items. And we voted on a discussion item with something listed under the discussion item because strictly speaking, it was not a public hearing. However, we have to have an action item to be able to vote on things. So now we are going to come back and fix that little detail. And also, if we strike and third from section 3B, we will be down to one meeting a month. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ruth, as soon as it was discussed, I missed that meeting because I was out of state. The council immediately started jumping on the fact that they thought about having a meeting on the third Tuesday. And in my mind, I would much rather see adding the words "as needed,"
Okay.
so that way.
Oh, okay, sure.
That way, in case we need to use that Tuesday, it's still available to us, because I realize right now we're pretty slow, but there also be the chance that it may pick up quite a bit, too.
So we could say on the first Tuesday of each month as needed.
Didn't you have a stipulation in there that we could have a special meeting if we needed to?
I
Yeah.
thought I read the same thing.
That was
Yeah, we
what we
can have
used
it,
in
we do have a
lieu of
stipulation
that?
that we can have a special meeting if we need to.
Yeah, it says that, I think.
Yeah, but if perchance the council takes over the third Tuesday, then we run into a bind of where we're going to,
Well, we can do another night of the week, but we really don't get into that much stuff unless things are really rolling and we get a lot of subdivision plats to look at and things like that. I don't really think we're going to see a whole lot of two-meeting months. There's a lot that we can cover in a short period of time.
okay?
But
That was
that's-
just my comment.
Sure, nope. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't have comment on section 3. However, if we are going to change that, we should administratively update section 8 and 9 to reflect that the town is now on a 4-day work week. I believe this was written when we were on a 5-day work week. As an example, where these packets are supposed to be ready for us no later than close of business on Thursday prior to the commission meeting.
Uh-huh.
That should probably be Wednesday, so we have the day of Thursday to pick it up, review it, and if we have questions, to maybe call in with a question on Monday before the meeting. That's in section 9.
Sure.
And then section 8, I think, should also be revised because that's to written comments being sent in. And again, the time frame of noon on Thursday is probably difficult to work with. And then, so I think everything, like when it says Wednesday, you might push it back to Tuesday. And where it says Thursday, push it back to Wednesday.
Hang on, prior to, okay. So Tuesday, prior to Tuesday. Sure.
And then on section 13, a two typo.
Oh, yes, the burden, yes,
Right.
I'm aware of that.
So I'm just thinking if we're going to revise this to delete the third, we might as well clean up administratively the other items.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, hearing no other comments, Chair will entertain a motion.
I recommend the rule of order be amended as written and as discussed.
Before you vote, I want to be clear on one thing. We're going to add the non-public hearing action items after public hearings and before discussion items, so we are going to leave discussion items in.
Yes.
I'll make a second on that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is 6B, discuss the initiation of amendments to the UDO that would regulate sober houses, group homes not governed by the Fair Housing Act, and other special purpose residential uses. And a staff report?
As some of you know, we have briefly discussed this back in the days when we were discussing medical marijuana. This topic came up as a result of some action taken by the city of Prescott to regulate these homes. And there was some discussion at town council about how to address this issue. The language is kind of tricky, so we are going to have to take some time in developing it. Right now, there are certain special purpose residences that we don't even define. We don't define what an assisted living center is. If somebody wanted to put a home in town where they have convert a residence to a senior care facility, we have no way to accommodate it, consider it, or it just simply doesn't exist in our code. So this is one of those things that we're trying to get cleaned up in the code. So we can regulate these group homes and then provide for some other special purpose residences and regulate those as well. By doing this, we will be able to establish some separation requirements and additional requirements on those facilities. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
So this motion this evening is to initiate a hearing or just to initiate discussion of proposed
Discussion.
amendments? Okay, discussion only, okay.
Make a motion, we initiate discussion on the amendments to the UDO that would regulate sober houses, group homes not governed by the Fair Housing Act, and other special purpose residential uses.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Next item on the agenda, 6C, amendments to Section 1.9.4, Planned Area Development Overlay District, PAD of the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO.
Again, one of the things that we're trying to clean up in the UDO is the issues related to the planned area development. Some of the language is convoluted at best. One of the issues that we have is that the ordinance states in two separate places that we cannot regulate use with the PAD overlay district. We can only, which really ties our hands as to the purpose and intent of what a planned area development district is. So if someone asks for a PAD overlay and they have commercial zoning, the way the language is written, we have no way to restrict those uses and modify the way that that property is used. So,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Basically, it renders ineffective the planned area development.
Correct. So if somebody were to come in and say, I want a planned area development overlay on this commercial zoning, and I think what they're trying to say here is that you can't change zoning through the PAD process. You have to go through the rezoning process, which is a given. That is the way it's ordinarily run. But the way that this is written, it says you cannot change the use, which means we can't restrict use at all with the PAD, as opposed to not changing the underlying zoning through the PAD process. That has to be considered as a separate action. So that's another one I'd like to bring some language back at the next meeting for us to consider.
Any other questions?
Is that for discussion or
Yes.
for public hearing?
We're going to discuss, not initiate.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify the motion.
Yes.
Discussion. The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move that we discuss at the next meeting the amending of the text for section 1.9.4, Planned Area Development Overlay District, and consider concurrent zoning change.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Item 6D, discuss the reinstatement of ordinance number 10-740, temporarily suspending the regulation of temporary signs and certain prohibited signs.
I included a copy of the ordinance number 10-740 for your review. This was an ordinance adopted by Town Council in 2010 to provide additional advertising and directional signage for businesses that were negatively impacted by some construction work on 89. That time period has elapsed and the ordinance is now no longer in effect. So our code enforcement officer has been going out and giving warnings to business owners with these signs that they can no longer use them. To date, we have received 15 calls from business owners who are upset by losing this signage. So we've been asked to bring this back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for consideration of reviving this ordinance and initiating a public hearing.
Has the staff considered making this a permanent text amendment? I mean, this has been in a temporary use for over 3 years. That's a long time to be temporary. The highway project is finished. Some of the reasons, compelling reasons why you did it, I I'm assuming are no longer valid, but that doesn't mean there may not be valid reasons to change the text to allow some additional signage.
This is one of the things, the request from most of the business owners was to let us put those signs back out there. We really need them. So that is one of the things that the Planning and Zoning Commission can recommend to town council, is that we make these changes permanent. So you can either re-up this ordinance or make the changes permanent.
I personally liked the language in the previous ordinance, in as much as it required, every 30 days that they come in and reinitiate the request for the use. It's not
Right.
like it's a carte blanche, you put out as many banners or,
Correct.
portable signs as you want. There is some regulation to it. So I'm more inclined to amend the code
Okay,
and give people what they need to do what they need to do.
all righty.
Now, on these portable signs they're putting out, now after 3 years' time frame, the businesses that are being affected by this, they are not known to the public right now, because I noticed there on the corner of Road 2 North and 89, when we came in, it looked a whole lot nicer tonight than it normally does when you come down the road, because all those signs were missing. And some of these signs have been out there for the whole time I've been coming here, those signs have been out there, and I'm to the point with most of them where I don't even see them anymore.
Well, that's one of the things that the commission needs to consider, is
Yeah.
whether they're effective or not, whether the business owners really and truly, if all of them want them back, if a preponderance of the members of the community would like to see them gone.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to discuss this and have a public hearing once we agree on some language.
For myself, as a business owner, some businesses thrive on those small signs. Maybe people don't see them that much, but the business owners wouldn't be calling and complaining if they thought they were ineffective. And I'd hate to see, as limited as the town's businesses are at this point, to handcuff them further. I'm in favor of changing the thing permanently myself. So I'd like.
Well,
to
that's one of the
see-
things we can talk about. We can do a one-year extension, see how it goes, and if at the end of the year they're still convinced they need them, then talk about an amendment, a permanent change to the UDO as well. Yes, sir.
I'm not clear on the fees for the signage. Is it an annual fee? Is there a fee for every 30 days?
Let's see. For these, I believe they have to resubmit every 30 days.
It says subject to renewal on the first calendar day of each month.
Yes,
So every month they have to file for renewal and pay another fee?
Yep.
And assessment of a temporary sign fee upon application for each renewal. So there is a fee each time.
correct.
I have a question. You were wanting to strike out section 2, items C and D. What was the rationale behind that?
For striking them out,
Yes.
in talking with the code enforcement officer, he and I discussed these, and we both felt they were on the over-regulatory side. That really those signs are not that big, and you're not going, if you have a sign that is 24 by 36 or 31 by 40, you're talking about something about that big. And when you put it on 89, if your logo or your business name is not quite large, no one's going to see it. And if changing the background from white to a different color and then using white lettering or something else is going to make it stand out more, then that's something that the business owner should be able to do.
I can understand maybe the background, but item C says a portable sign is limited to 1, identification of a business, and 2, providing direction to said business. And why is that being struck?
Well, because all they can do is say, Fred's Car Repair, turn left, rather than put the business hours or anything like that on there.
And the intent of the ordinance was because of the construction on 89.
Correct.
So I think they're trying to use this ordinance to get more advertising than identification.
Well, I think that some of that might be the advertising. I don't think it really is advertising more than it is identifying and including additional information. I mean, if you're just putting your business name and your hours and turn left here,
Yeah. And that was the intent of the ordinance because of the construction that was ongoing. And they were having a problem, people finding the business. So now it appears that the business wants to use it for advertising rather than what the original ordinance was for. But if it's going to be for discussion, we're looking at initiating a public hearing to extend it when I think the reason for the ordinance may not be there anymore.
And aren't those portable signs supposed to come down at the close of business day for?
correct.
So having the hours up there, is not that critical if the sign's missing. If the sign's there, then the business is open.
True, but
Okay.
I mean, if you're driving by, are they open until 5:30? Can I hit them on the way home? Is useful information.
Because we see a lot of signs around town, and I'm thinking of Martina's right down the street here. The business has been closed for about a year now, and their sign's still out, yet under the UDO, it's supposed to either be taken down or covered. You see that quite a bit around town here, old signs and so forth that are still up. The businesses, the signs are good for the businesses, and I don't want to restrict businesses any, because we need the business. But at the same time, we have the ordinances to protect everybody. Okay.
And again, that's why we're bringing this back, so that we can have a discussion. If you would like to have a discussion before we initiate a public hearing, I think we can certainly accommodate that.
I believe that's what I'm hearing, that a discussion would be more appropriate than a public hearing at
Yes.
the next meeting.
Yep.
So the chair
I
will
agree.
entertain a motion.
I'll move to discuss, to have a discussion considering extending ordinance 10-740 to be discussed at our next meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there are no discussion items on the agenda this evening. Public comments. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on any item that was not on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I think there'll be a slight break, and then we'll adjourn the joint meeting